I suggested to you this morning in the Old Testament scripture, in the book of beginnings, in the book of Genesis, in chapter 32, beginning with verse 22 and reading through verses 32, you will find again these words. Listen very carefully, you don't have to stand. I just want to read this biblical text for you, and hopefully it speaks to your spirit. The word says, the same night he arose and took his 2 wives, which raises the question, what night? He took his 2 female servants and his 11 children and crossed the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had. Bless you. And Jacob was left alone. And a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, let me go, for the day is broken. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, please tell me your name. But he said, why is it that you ask my name? And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered. The sun rose upon him as he passed Peniel, limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the sinew of the thigh that is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh. May God have a blessing to his holy word and sanctify in our hearts this day. I said I needed about 10 minutes of your time. I leave you with this probing, piercing question. What do you do when your past catches you? This pericope of scripture has to do with the relationship that Jacob has with his brother. Most of you biblical scholars here in this audience are quite familiar with the story of Jacob and Esau. You cut your theological teeth on Sunday school and the biblical subject matter at hand. You've been in Bible studies, you've read portions of the book of Genesis, and you recognize that Mama Rebecca kind of favored one of the boys and Daddy favored the other. There's always been this internal battle in the family. You know, the eldest son in the womb of Rebecca, and how they wrestled internally trying to figure out who was coming out first and who was going to be the elder and who was going to be in charge. The theology in the text would suggest that there are times in our own personal lives when we can have a tendency to give away that which was our best. Something tells me this morning that one or two of us here in this audience has, at one time or another in our own lives, have given away something that really meant a great deal to us. But at a particular juncture of our lives, we decided we wanted something more. It just so happens, according to the biblical story, Jacob watches carefully as his brother Esau becomes hungry, and he just happens to be preparing a pot of lentil stew, if you will. Esau comes in, he's famished. He's been out, as a matter of fact, all day. He's come in and gets the aroma from this stew that's cooking in the house and decides that he wants some of what Jacob has. Come here for just a moment. Has there ever been a position in your life when someone had something you wanted?
Come on, sir.
It raises the question, how badly did you want it? Did you want it so bad that you would give up something that was extremely valuable, or something that meant so much to you? Maybe it wasn't a thing. Maybe it was selling out your character. I always tell young preachers, whatever you do, recognize your character is the one thing you can't recoup. If you decide, for one reason or another, to give up your character, know that it'll take you another lifetime to get it back. Esau has decided, I'm so hungry that I want what you have, and I'm willing to give up something so valuable as my birthright. Now, just in case that doesn't mean a whole lot of you in your Western culture, please recognize that according to the Hebrew, the eldest son was the one who was to receive the birthright. It meant that when indeed the father passed away, everything that was of any value went to the eldest. I already told you that there was an internal battle in Rebekah between Jacob and Esau, and how they were already wrestling to see who would come out first. And Jacob, whose name literally means trickster or supplanter, has already pulled at the heels of Esau prior to coming out. One or two of you here this morning, in the context of your personal life, have done some dastardly deeds that you regret even now. Am I talking to anybody this morning? But maybe some of you are so holy that you always lived a life that is perfect and right. You've not done anything that's shady or attempted to discredit anybody. You've always lived perfect. So let me address Smith, if you don't mind. There's one or two infractions in my own personal life that has caused me some trouble, and every now and then it haunts me. If you are honest with yourself, there is something in your past that's on your dogged footsteps. You can't seem to get away from it for one reason or another. You just know that it keeps showing up. Anybody here with me this morning? Or am I even sanctuary by myself? The text says that the reason why we find ourselves here in this 22nd verse and verses following is because something has transpired early on in the life of Jacob. It appears that those events that took place, how he had done some shady deals and some dastardly deeds, have now shown up in the person of Esau. I suggest to you that in my hermeneutical studies, it was suggesting that something transpired that Esau represents in the life of Jacob. There is somebody in the house this morning that has an Esau experience in your own personal life. You wish you could get away from it, but it sounds at a distance like it's approaching. The text is haunting us. It has found its way in the presence of the trickster. He has learned how to manipulate others. But now, here's a problem. He thought he had become elusive and had gotten away from the situation, but here it comes. You thought you had run far enough, but here it comes. You thought nobody else knew. There was no verbal record of it, no written record. You thought you had escaped it, but here it comes. And so Jacob thinks to himself, my past is on my heels. It's about to show up. Boys, go back in the direction that Esau is coming, and when you spot him, tell him that his servant Jacob, all of a sudden his demeanor changes. His vernacular changes. He now puts himself in the position of a servant. He's not so bad and big right now. He has cowed down just a little bit because he knows his past is coming. Many of us find ourselves at Peniel because we decided that we need some help, and all of a sudden, in a position that was once unknown to us, there is a figure that shows up because we need some help to avoid our past. I'm just trying to pull out the characters in the text to help you recognize that even here in this book of beginnings, God is moving to help him out of a bad situation. I stopped by to serve notice to all of us that even when we have blown it, when our past is on our heels, God can show up at the brook so that somehow he can fix a situation we never could find our way out of. And it's good news to know that God will show up at your Peniel. The Hebrew word, which is to suggest that man has indeed wrestled with God, has seen God face to face. God has shown up in the midst of his troubles, but God is willing to help him out of it. I stopped by to help you understand that no matter what it is you're facing, no matter how difficult it appears to be, God says, I'm going to show up in the context of your battle and help you out of it. There is somebody here this morning. You thought you'd gotten away from it. You thought you'd left it behind. You thought you had deserted it, but it just keeps coming. The book of Genesis is about a book of beginnings, a relationship of beginnings, beginnings of all of humankind, the creative juices of God creating this and creating that. And all of a sudden, when God is trying to put it back together again, humanity is messing up continually, and God is continuing to say, let me help you to begin again. This particular general location is an attempt of God to help Jacob put it all back together again. This morning, God is wanting to help you put your life back together again. When your past is dogging you, when it has become real, when it won't go away, please know this, that there is typology in the Old Testament that will suggest that there is something in the old that represents the new. Even here as Jacob wrestles with God, God is making a way for Jacob out of no way. Just like when you messed up according to the New Testament, God is saying, I'm going to wrestle with you until you are blessed so that you can cut out of your bad situation. What do you do when your past catches up with you? You make your way to the book where you can find the presence of the ultimate reality. And you spend time face to face with God, because God is the only one who can strengthen you, is the only one who can get you through it. like an easel, like it was a $15 bill. Please know this, that God is going to work it out so that somehow life becomes better for you. Maybe I'm just speaking to me this morning, but when my past dogs me, I run swiftly to God so that I can spend face-to-face time with Him so that He can help me out of an impossible situation. I said 10 minutes, I'm done. But God wanted somebody to know this morning that God is with you. Any other time anyone spends face-to-face time with Him, theologically it means death. But Jacob said, I wrestled with God, and the man that I wrestled with said, since you spend face-to-face time with me, I'm going to bless your life. I dare you this morning to spend some quality time with God and see what God does for you. When your past catches up with you make your way to God and watch what He does for you.